What a wild ride it's been, huh? So get this, yesterday, something absolutely mind-blowing went down. We just saw the first ever XRP ETF hit the market right here in the US. And folks, this isn't just any ETF. It's actually backed by real, honest-to-goodness XRP tokens. This is totally groundbreaking because we've never had a US XRP ETF with actual XRP backing before. But the part that's got everyone scratching their heads, it's not quite playing out how most of us expected. Don't you worry though, because I'm diving into all the juicy details in this video, so stick around. And the SEC also just gave the green light to a multi-coin ETF that includes XRP. And guess what? It's already live and trading. This is seriously shaking up the whole supply and demand game for XRP as we speak. I mean, seriously, XRP holders are just getting hit with amazing news left and right. And honestly, it shouldn't even surprise anyone anymore. Whatever new investment product comes out, XRP just keeps stunning everyone in the crypto world, especially all the doubters out there. Guess what? All that XRP demand, it's completely real. Those social media chats aren't just some robot army talking to itself. Beep, boop, beep. Turns out it's actual human beings who are genuinely hyped about this. But real quick, before we dive deeper, I have to throw this out there. I have zero financial background whatsoever. I am absolutely not giving you financial advice. And please, seriously, don't go buying or selling anything just because of what I'm saying. Got it? Whew, awesome. Let's get into it. All right, friends, let me just drop a quick reality check on you about how absolutely bonkers XRP has been performing. And I'm not just talking about since the election. Look, if we're looking at XRP's price action globally, yeah, it's literally the #1 performing coin in the entire top 100 since the election happened. That's just facts. But here's what's really crazy. Every single investment product that gets launched around XRP just absolutely crushes it. Let me show you this perfect example from CoinDesk back on August 26th this year. XRP futures set open interest record at CME. So what they're saying here is that XRP became the fastest contract ever to hit $1 billion in notional open interest. And get this, it did it in just over 3 months. Guys, nobody had ever pulled that off before. This got Nate Garassi, he's the president of Nova Diaz Wealth Investment Firm, to say this on August 26th. CME Group says XRP futures contracts have crossed over $1 billion in open interest. Fastest ever contract to do so took just over 3 months. And then he drops this bomb. There's already $800+ million in futures-based XRP ETFs. Think people might be underestimating demand for spot XRP ETFs? Yeah, buddy, I think you're absolutely right on that one. Oh, and speaking of domination, I've got to bring up the Tuckrium CEO again. I've covered this guy before on the channel. He came out and said XRP has more utility than any other coin in crypto. And here's the kicker. His leveraged XRP product became his company's absolute best performer ever. We're talking about a firm that's been in business for what, 16 years now? I think that's right, 16 years. And in all that time, this XRP product is crushing everything else he's ever launched. That should tell you something right there, which perfectly sets us up for what just exploded yesterday. And trust me, this is huge. Look, am I shocked? Not really. Are you shocked? Probably not. But all those XRP haters and people with terminal XRP derangement syndrome, they're absolutely losing their minds right now. Just look at this CoinDesk headline. XRP and Doge ETF smash records with 54.7 million combined day one value. I'm going to dive deep into the numbers, but first, let me blow your mind with this. The Rex Osprey XRP ETF just set the record for highest debut volume of any ETF launched this entire year, pulling in over $37 million on day one. You heard me right, people. This beast launched yesterday and immediately became 2024's biggest ETF debut, an XRP ETF. At this point, how is anyone still surprised? Oh, and that Doge ETF, just 17 million, and boom, XRP just absolutely destroyed the competition. They mashed those numbers into one headline, but honestly, the mind-blowing story that everyone should be talking about is XRP pulling in 37 million freaking dollars. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You've got Eric Balchunas, and hey, from what I've witnessed, this isn't some bitter XRP hater or keyboard warrior, okay? But he's teamed up with James Seifert at Bloomberg. These are literally the ETF guru superstars that crypto follows religiously. But get this, both these legends have dropped statements that scream they're totally not buying into XRP. So my guess? They haven't really dug deep enough into the research, or maybe they're convinced they understand something based on what they've picked up. James Seifert especially, zero beef with him personally, but this guy has tossed some pretty sassy comments about XRP that I've actually exposed on my channel. So listen, I'm absolutely 0% surprised that they're both sitting there completely blindsided by what's unfolding right now. So here's Eric Balchunas dropping some serious intel. He's the senior ETF analyst over at Bloomberg, right? And just yesterday morning, before the trading day was even done, this guy posts, "Semi-shock. The XRP ETF with ticker XRPP is already sitting at $24 million in volume." Actually, hold up. I thought it was XRPR. Let me double check that in an article real quick. I'm pretty confident it was XRPR, but hey, maybe I'm totally wrong here. But anyway, listen to this. $24 million in volume just that morning. And he's like, that's way more than I expected. Then he drops the context bomb. This is literally 5 times bigger than any XRP futures ETF pulled on their first day. And we're only 90 minutes in. His exact words, "Is it that buck wild?" Yeah, he's genuinely shocked. Me? Not even slightly surprised. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like I saw this coming and called the exact numbers. I had no clue this would happen. But am I remotely caught off guard? Absolutely not. There's been this massive pent-up hunger for XRP products because XRP has been artificially held down for basically most of the last 5 years. Then he shared another post after market close. There it is. So he actually fixed his mistake. I was totally right. It's XRPR. He comes back with the update. XRPR just crushed $37.7 million on day one, which literally beats Ives for the biggest day one natural dollar volume of any 2025 launch. And check this out, Doge came swinging hard too at $17 million, landing it in the top 5 for the entire year out of 710 launches. He's calling it a solid signal for the incoming wave of 33 Act ETFs. You bet, my friend. So yesterday was genuinely a game-changing moment in crypto finance with XRPR going live. This Rex Osprey ETF is delivering regulated US exposure to XRP for the very first time. Now let's get real here. It's definitely backed, but we need to be super clear. This isn't your standard 100%. Man, speaking is seriously challenging me today. This isn't your typical 100% spot XRP ETF setup. But here's what matters. XRPR is backed in a genuinely solid way by real XRP through this smart hybrid structure they've engineered. So XRPR's architecture works like this. They've established this Cayman Islands subsidiary that actually holds XRP. At minimum, 80% of their net assets are parked directly in XRP or other vehicles that deliver XRP exposure. Okay, so get this. The fund's own documents basically say, hey, at least 80% of our stuff will be chilling in XRP or things that directly follow XRP's vibe. Now, for the other 20%, that's like their flexible little pocket. They can use that for all sorts of things. Think short-term US government bonds, good old cash, money market instruments, or even other crypto-related ETPs and derivatives. Why? Mostly to keep things flowing smoothly, help with liquidity, just generally make sure everything's squared away with regulations and hedging. All that financial jargon aside, that 20% is essentially their safety net, their buffer. It's there so the folks managing the fund can easily handle any redemptions, cover the bills, and keep the whole ETF humming along without ever having to dump XRP when the market's looking rough. All right, so even though the ETF isn't exactly 100% XRP, come on, let's be real. This thing is practically bursting with XRP. It's designed so that the vast majority of it is XRP, pure and simple. We're talking about a genuine XRP ETF launched right here in the US. Folks, that's a massive first. This is happening. It's not a drill. For all you XRP holders out there, this is still super bullish news. Why? Because this fund needs to buy and hold actual XRP, and a ton of it. That's a huge boost to demand, and you guessed it, it's going to chip away at that available supply. That 20% flexibility, that's just the fund playing by the rules, keeping things smooth and compliant with US regulations. They absolutely had to do that, no question. And hey, I wouldn't be surprised if a direct XRP spot ETF follows down the line. But let me say this again. Because this ETF is directly driving the purchase and holding of real XRP, it means a surge in demand for XRP, but in a totally institutional and regulated way. And that, my friends, can seriously tighten up the supply on the open market. It absolutely is, no doubt about it. That's exactly what it's designed to do, and yeah, it's going to help boost XRP's price. Now, what really gets me excited is thinking about what this means in the long run, over years, even decades. But hey, let's not ignore what's happening right now. These are real numbers we're seeing, folks. Here's the cool part. It's opening up access. A lot of investors out there who won't or can't mess with crypto exchanges, wallets, or self-custody, now they've got a way in. They can tap into XRP's potential gains by simply picking up a regulated ETF right from their brokerage account, the same place they're already buying stocks or S&P 500 ETFs. And now, they can grab this too. It's just that simple. All right, so check this out. The opening day, absolutely wild. We're talking a staggering $37.7 million in trading volume. Seriously, folks, that's just blowing people's minds. It shows this enormous pent-up hunger for XRP exposure in a way that's totally accessible. And honestly, it's more than just a hint. It's practically screaming at us how powerful a true, pure spot XRP ETF will be once it finally gets the green light. Imagine when we have multiple spot XRP ETFs live. Oh my goodness. Just picture the insane volume then. Clearly way more cash flowing in than with those futures products. Okay, so listen up. Getting direct exposure to the actual asset, that's way more exciting, right? And this is a step in that direction. Just imagine when it's 100% fully spot backed. That's going to be absolutely insane, folks. Then the SEC went ahead and approved Grayscale's first US multi-asset crypto ETP. Now, for those scratching their heads, an ETF, that's just one flavor of ETP. An ETP, or exchange-traded product, is the big umbrella. An ETF, an exchange-traded fund, is under it. If I'm remembering correctly, there are actually 3 types of ETPs. I always forget the other 2 because honestly, in the crypto world, we barely ever talk about them. They just aren't relevant to our discussions. But here's the takeaway. Every ETF is an ETP, but not every ETP is an ETF. Think of an ETF as just a specific kind of ETP, you know? All right, so here's something cool to talk about. The US Securities and Exchange Commission just gave the green light to the first ever multi-asset cryptocurrency exchange-traded product in the US. That means Grayscale's digital large-cap fund has been officially approved for listing. Now, while they're technically calling it an ETP, let's be real, this is basically an ETF. Yep, an actual ETF, and guess what? XRP is part of it. That's right, this thing is live and trading now. We're talking about spot XRP and a few other big-name cryptocurrencies. The fund includes exposure to 5 of the biggest cryptos out there: Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. This approval, which came through in a Wednesday filing, is a huge moment for the crypto world and follows the success of spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US. All right, friends, let's talk about it. A pure XRP spot ETF. It's coming, isn't it? The answer is absolutely yes. How could it not be? It's so obvious at this point. Of course it's happening. Here's the thing. XRP is already part of a spot ETF, though it's in a basket with other cryptos. That just launched today. Plus, an XRP-backed ETF went live yesterday, and it's absolutely taking off. And let's not forget, all of this is happening right as we're heading into the final stages of a bull run. How could you not be insanely bullish right now? It's crystal clear. XRP is gearing up to blow everyone's minds. Big things are coming, and honestly, it's a pretty awesome time to be an XRP holder. Quick reminder though, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't go buying or selling anything just because I said something here. Seriously, that would not be a smart move.